Good morning to my seminar in International Relations and Diplomacy, to Madam Mas, and to my fellow friends who is watching our video presentation today. So, including myself and another three of my members, we are a group called Girls Up, whereby our topic presentation today is about the Delhi riots, which is the outbreak of the Indian Muslim in India. So before I begin, let me introduce myself. My name is Calista Magdalene Chua, matrix number 263565. I will begin with my introduction. I begin with a quote which inspired me about this is because the Delhi riots in India. So this quote is by Mahatma Gandhi, whereby he say, "My religion is based on truth and non-violence. Truth is my God and non-violence means of realizing Him." For me, I took this is because I think that a religion is supposed to be based on truth and not having any violence. Of what happening in India today, there is still violence. So on the 23rd February 2020, a riots broke down in the northeast Delhi, particularly in Jafrabad. It is between the Anti-Citizenship Amendment (CAA), which comprising the Hindus and the pro-CAA protester. More than 200 people were injured. Shops and houses were burned down. Even the place of worship was attacked. So this attack, it been said that was by the protester as a discriminatory to the Muslim and threatening to their existence in India. When combined with the National Register of the Citizen, which is the NRC. So on December 15, several students of Jamia Millia Islamic University were injured during a confrontation with the Delhi police. Hundreds of police officers allegedly entered the campus forcibly and detained more than 100 students. They were allegedly to have used batons and tear gas to disperse the anti-CAA protesters. Over 200 people were injured and admitted to Delhi All India Institute of Medical Science and Holy Family Hospital. This attack triggered the whole nation wide. The violence has resulted to dozens of deaths in the capital of Delhi, followed months of peaceful protests against a new citizenship law. In this case, it wasn't a government crackdown that spurred the death, but rather the government seeming unwillingness to quell the rampage in the first place. So from my research, according to Sautik Biswas in BBC News, after a few days of the riot, Prime Minister Narendra Modi tweeted his first appeal of peace. It been said that there were no commiseration for the victim. This shows that the Delhi governing party was not doing much in order to solve this case. Many of the citizens and some people were blaming that outrageously of the Delhi police in handling the riots. Therefore, our presentation today gonna talk about the factors that contributing to the riots, the impact to the inter and intrastate of the riots, and also what have the government in India done, and also the United Nations, what role has they played. So I'll pass to my next presenter to present about the factors that contributing to the Delhi riots. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Dudiana Maula Arifani. My matric number is 702065. Today, I would like to present about the factors that contributing to the Delhi riots. Delhi riots that occurred on Sunday, 23rd February 2020. It was a deadliest Hindu-Muslim violence in Indian capital since at least 1915. This raises a pyramid growing tension around the agenda of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who has sought to emphasize Hindu primacy in India through measures that include a controversial citizenship law passed in December. The factors of the Delhi riots were triggered by the Citizenship Amendment Act or CAA, which was passed by the government in 2019. CAA, or also known as the Citizenship Amendment Bill or CAB, is an amendment to the old Indian citizenship law, which is 64 years old. This citizenship law is made by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The CAA defines illegal migrant as those who enter India without official document or who are staying more than visa validity period. A migrant must live in India or work for a country for 11 years before they can apply for citizenship. However, in the CAA, there are exceptions for those from 6 minority religious communities like Hinduism, Sikhism, Buddhism, Jainism, Persia, and Christianity. The regulation allows non-Muslim citizenship from Bangladesh, Pakistan, and Afghanistan who enter India illegally to become citizens. They are required to live and work in the Indian state for 6 years before being naturalized as a citizen. This rule is so controversial because the citizenship law in this amendment is considered exclusive and violates the principle of secularity protected by the Constitution. But under the CAA, Indian Muslims will be required to prove that they are true citizens of India, so that the possibility of Indian Muslims will be lose their citizenship. The Indian Constitution also forbids religious discrimination and considers all citizens to be equal before the law. One attorney from New Delhi also said that the CAA divides citizens into Muslim and non-Muslim, and the citizenship law explicit and seeks to strengthen efforts for religious discrimination in there. The Indian government, which is now controlled by the Hindu Nationalist Party, the name is Bharatiya Janata Party, said that the citizenship law was formed to deter India from illegal immigrants. However, if we look at this matter, actually the citizenship law was made to delegitimize Muslim citizenship, and if the CAA was formed because it wants to protect minorities, the CAA should include Muslims who were executed in their own country. For example, the Ahmadis in Pakistan and the Rohingya in Myanmar. Another factors that trigger of the Delhi riots was because of the hate speech by Kapil Misra. Kapil Misra is an Indian politician, one of the officials at the Bharatiya Janata Party, which is the most powerful party in India nowadays, and has a strong foundation in the ideology of Hindu supremacy. Kapil Misra is known for outspoken in expressing his opinion. He came from a high caste of Hindu society, and he also worked for Amnesty International and Greenpeace. Before the Delhi riots broke out, Kapil Misra appeared in a campaign against demonstrators dominated by women, who opposed Indian New Citizenship Act, which was considered discrimination against Muslims. On that occasion, he poured out his frustration in a fiery speech. He issues an ultimatum to police to disperse the demonstrators who were blocking the main road, or he and his followers would do it themselves. After his hate speech, the riots broke out. Hindu and Muslim groups attacked each other. The riots turned into sectarian conflict, where people are attacked based on their religion. And some people believe if Kapil Misra and his Hindu nationalists trigger hatred in a Hindu majority country with a Hindu nationalist government that allows Muslim killers not to be punished. Concerns are growing that cruel Hindu extremism can go out of the control. As a result, At least 42 people were killed because of these riots. Thank you for your attention. Next, I will pass to Velia, who is the next presenter. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Velia Utami Chania. My metric number 702064. Today, I'm going to present my assignment regarding Delhi riots. And in my part, I will talk about the impact of Delhi riots toward inter and intrastate. The violence that has occurred since February 2020 is one of series of riots between race and religion that has happened in Indian capital since 1980. This impact not only felt by India itself, but this is also felt by several countries that has affected by this conflict. As we know, the impact of this controversial new citizenship law, as my friends has explained before, so this is make a possibility that Indian Muslim will lose their citizenship without a reason. Meanwhile, the previous law didn't make a religion as one of the criteria to become a citizen. So, if it relates to human rights, of course, the world will be ready to take their part to handling this case. The impact for India itself, it can impact the economic growth of India. Modi, who has been re-elected in 2014, has continued to focus on his political agenda, but he has failed to bring Indian economic to a better direction. The economic growth under his leadership even led in last 6 years. And also this conflict have impact to the stability of Indian state, with a variety of conflict attacks will result in a decline stability in India. The Delhi riots in 2020 were seen as a target and deliberate violence against Muslims, with the impact not only felt by India but also stretching beyond the Indian border. Because India face a serious threat, Islamic radicalism and terrorism, the Indian action could act as a new factor for radicalization of Indian Muslim youth. Of course, this will have a negative impact to other countries, especially Southeast Asian countries, which have a largest Muslim population. They considered what India had done, which target Muslim hate violence, international human rights law. The discrimination treatment experienced by India Muslim has even reached warning level and is leading to genocide against Muslim minorities. So, here are some pictures that has been experienced by Muslim India today. Even though it has been recorded in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, where the general recognition of the nation of the world regarding respect and protection of human rights for every human being, especially in every person has the right to all rights and freedom in nationhood, language, religion, and other. These attacks are also seen as part of the persecution of Muslims throughout the wider world in Europe, North America, and Asian countries such as China against the Uyghur and Myanmar against the Rohingya. So, it is important for India to stop all forms of human rights violation against to the minorities Indian Muslim. The UN is also expected to be able to build an independent investigation to investigate more in this case. Also, the cooperation of countries the world to mobilize assistance for minority Indian Muslim as a form of concern for minorities issues. So that's all for me, and next I will pass to Elvira, who is the next presenter that will explain about the function and roles of United Nations and the Indian government in handling the Delhi riots issues. And thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, my name is Wideningsi Elvira. My metric number is 702058. In this part, I would like to explain about the role of the India government and United Nations to resolve these Delhi riots. The first point, At the end of 2019, there was a communal violence resulted in dozens of deaths in the capital city of Delhi. As a response, the international media and the Organization of Islamic Cooperation or OIC indicate that the India government has failed to handle and resolve these riots. But then, the India Ministry of External Affairs giving the response to the OIC statement, saying that the information is inaccurate and misleading. By then, the India government efforts to solve the Delhi riots in 2020 seems not effective and very indifferent. Whereas if we look into the history, when the communal violence occurred in India, the government give a fast response to how to solve it. But then it is different under the Modi government. When the communal violence breaks out in Delhi, what the government should do is to impose a curfew straight away, and the government puts lots of police on the street, and you make everyone go home and make the situation more calm a bit. This method is considered effective and works to reduce conflicts. As a ruler maker, the government has the obligation and the capability to rein the violence. And also the government has the enough resource to redeem the conflict. But then, why Modi government didn't do so? Even though some official has been proposed that the army should be deployed into the area, the government has so far resisted the pressure. Modi is only issued an appeal people for calm down, urging people in the capital city to maintaining the brotherhood and the peace. Of course, this kind of method is not working at all. After all, the government efforts were considered not fully complete and effective in handling the Anti-Citizenship Amendment Act demonstration. Instead of accepting people's aspiration toward the amendment, the India government chose a controversial way to resolve this conflict. During the early days of protests in 2019, the government arrested thousands of people in northern state of Uttar Pradesh. In other parts of the country, according to the human rights groups, the government intentionally shut down the internet and limit public transportation in order to settle down the situation, but it works for a while. If we look into the history in 2014, when Modi became the India Prime Minister, he campaigned and promised on an agenda to revive the country's stagnant economy and improve its infrastructure. But then he also brought a spirit to transform India from a secular democracy into a Hindu nationalism state. No wonder that under the Modi administration, the government did not take a serious step to resolve and redeem the tension. Whereas many steps that Modi can do to solving this conflict, such as solve the problem in democratic ways instead of violence, creating law on the discrimination against Muslims in India, and also restrain the security forces. The United Nations did not giving a significant contribution to redeem these Delhi riots. According to the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, Michelle Bachelet, she expressed great concern about the Citizenship Amendment Act and report of police inaction during the violence in Delhi. She stated that the Indian political leaders should prevent further to communal violence, remembering that since a long time ago, India is a reputable country for secularism. Whereas, according to our suggestion, one should bring this case into the International Court of Justice because it is violating the human rights, or one should bring this case into the local court and use all the remedies in state itself in order to keep calm the state. That's all for me. Thank you very much. I will pass into the next presenter. Thank you.
As a conclusion that we all can read from this is many mistakes were done in this situation. Many was hurt and many was suffering because of this riot. As far as we are concerned, the Delhi riots was brutal to the people in India, especially in the northeast Delhi. Many people has lost their families and a lot of things has destroyed. So there are few lessons that we can learn from this, whereby the first one is that the police should have been more stronger in handling the riots. Also, there should be a strong and good leadership in handling this issue. Last but not least, the Ministry of Home Affairs should play more role in providing the capital police with the latest riot gear. So these few lessons that we can learn from all of this is so that India to be a country of peace and stability. Hence, it is important that people in this world know about the reality and truth of Delhi riots in order to learn from mistake. Other countries should not pursue in riots. Riots should not be happening nowadays. Supposedly problems are meant to solve peacefully by diplomacy and other methods that will not involve any weapons or war. The India government should take some lessons in order to not let the violence happen again. The authority also should involve to be more precaution and to protect the human regardless of their religion in India. We as a human need to learn from this Delhi riots issue so that everyone will born the same. There should not be any discrimination to everyone. So here I end all of our speech presentation with a thank you.